Yeah, hi, welcome to the podcast. It's Dave. I really don't want to do this today, actually. I'm feeling like I'm coming down with something. Maybe it's just a lack of motivation, or maybe I have crabs. Cramps. Um, anyway, I'm probably gonna come back and record this tomorrow. I did a lot of work went into this one, okay? A lot more work than I'm used to. Usually I just wing it, and I'm still winging it, but it was a more kind of refined, structured version of winging it that I'm really not used to, and I don't know if I can maintain it. So you're either going to hear my voice from today or tomorrow. I don't know. I have to actually test how this is going to sound and see how we go. Today we've got global tension, political backlash, a moon mission coming back to Earth, dangerous AI systems, entertainment non-news, and some fluffy headlines with some shameless self-promotion thrown in by me, your host. But the main focus today is AI psychosis. We're breaking down 5 different perspectives on what happens when people spend long periods interacting with chatbots and start slipping into distorted beliefs, because it's definitely on the machine and not their crappy decisions. And what experts are actually saying is that this isn't AI creating new mental illness. Wow, really? It's the same vulnerabilities that we've always had, obviously, just showing up in a new environment that moves faster than we understand. And I clearly feel very strongly about the topic, hence my wanting to focus on it for the episode. Hi, I'm Dave. If my back isn't sore, it's just really itchy, and this is Spilling Trends, where everyone keeps an open mind while a 32-year-old drug user tries to do a podcast from a very crappy recording environment. Yeah. Now I have this ongoing debacle in my bedroom where I'm trying and failing to create an environment that is good for voiceover or just any kind of sound to be recorded. And yeah, still very much building in public, like I've said before. It's not fun. All right, so it's the next day now, and I'm fired up because today's theme is AI psychosis, and I've been, let's say, engaging that on social media for a bit. But first, we're going to get into the headlines from the last 7 days that I found were worth mentioning. European cigarette material was found in a Russian missile. Western-made cellulose acetate used in cigarette filters is being routed through intermediaries into Russia and used in missile fuel production, exposing supply chain loopholes that allow sanctions to be bypassed. Groovy. Trump is under fire again. Donald Trump is facing backlash after posting a graphic video online. And then in more recent days, there was more crap about him posting stupid shit about the war and stuff. But no, this was actually to feed his anti-immigration rhetoric. There was some guy that bashed a woman with a hammer, which is it's disgusting in itself. But Trump posting something that, he got backlash for him, and it's nothing new. Artemis 2 mission returns. NASA's Artemis 2 crew has completed a historic lunar mission and is now returning to Earth. At the time I wrote it, they actually did return, and it was very exciting. Very slow, actually. That pod with the parachutes, it took entirely too long. Number 4, Iran-Israel ceasefire tensions. Fragile ceasefire between Iran and the US hasn't stopped regional conflict. Yeah, well, of course not. I mean, what's new in the Middle East? Like, fuck off. And the number 5, I usually do 5 for some reason. I think I've got more than 5, to be honest. AI systems deemed too dangerous. New research warns that some advanced AI systems are now being considered too risky. Really? Wow. Like, how is this even news? NASA's Perseverance rover detected microscopic corundum. This is the ruby and sapphire forming mineral. And they found it inside space rocks using laser analysis. So I guess the rover's got lasers. And this surprised scientists since Mars lacks tectonic activity, suggesting meteorite impacts likely created the mineral. And so from that, I'm deducing, there's more science to look into on that, but I'm deducing that it's the actual physical impact that causes the creation of that mineral. So that actually makes that quite interesting, because at first I was just like, don't you mean the meteorite brought the mineral? But that's not how rocks work. But I'm not here to talk about rocks, even though they're very useful and they're very, quite lovely.
So across 5 different sources, I basically transcribed a bunch of videos from credible voices on YouTube, all people who, for whatever reason, will have credibility. They've done the investigation. And what has been interesting is that across these 5 sources, the consensus was clearly that AI psychosis isn't a formal diagnosis, which further reinforces my own thinking that it's a fucking myth. It's a way of describing psychotic symptoms where AI becomes the focus of distorted beliefs. So PBS NewsHour was our first source, What to Know About AI Psychosis and the Effect of AI Chatbots on Mental Health from September 1st, 2025. The segment centered on real-world harm, including a lawsuit involving a teenager's death, suicide. Psychiatrist Joseph Pierre explains that AI isn't creating new illness, but can worsen existing vulnerabilities. So the key risk is behavioral. Oh, I'm using AI too much, I forgot how to read. Heavy chatbot use, isolation, and treating AI as authoritative or godlike. There's also a tension between safety and engagement, since less agreeable AI is often less engaging. So the biggest takeaway here was that emotional dependence plus isolation can lead to serious psychological harm. The next video from Psych to Go, what is AI psychosis and why it's happening more often? And this is from January 2026. The video focused on design, AI being built to be friendly and validating, which means it reflects rather than challenges. This can gradually reinforce unhealthy thinking, especially in people dealing with loneliness or distress. It highlights emotional dependency forming over time, sometimes leading to beliefs that AI is conscious or personally connected. So the main point here was that the danger is gradual, AI replacing real support while reinforcing distorted thinking. The next video was from More Perfect Union. We investigated AI psychosis. What we found will shock you. No, it didn't. October 15th, 2025. Is anyone actually ever shocked when a video includes that in the title? Like, do people still fall for clickbait? I imagine most people, when they click on those videos, when it says what we found will shock you, it's just like, well, I'm not going to be shocked, but it's more like, well, let's see, like, you know, what you've come up with. Let's just, you know, you're just sort of humoring them. You're not really like looking to be shocked. At least that's how I view it. This investigation used case studies, including a musician whose AI use escalated into obsession and suicidal thinking. It argues AI can actively amplify beliefs through constant validation. It also raises accountability concerns, pointing to a conflict between engagement-driven design and user safety. So the main takeaway was that AI can act as a reinforcing mirror, intensifying beliefs and emotional states. Priory YouTube. Can AI chatbots trigger psychosis? From October 8th, 2025. Dr. David McLaughlin explains psychosis as a broader condition shaped by context. AI is just the latest theme. He highlights chatbot agreeability and AI hallucinations as risks, since both can reinforce false beliefs. He stresses AI should not replace real human or professional support. So there's that theme again. So the main takeaway, AI does not cause psychosis, ding, 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 but it can reinforce it through agreeability and misinformation. Exactly what I've been saying this whole time. It amplifies what you've already got and it holds a mirror to you. So upon reflection, this is what people need to understand, is that it's about the user. It's only as good as the inputs. Okay? That's what's... So it's delightful that, like, of all these sources, like, we've done 4 of them now, they're all actually saying the same shit that I've been saying, which is why the first time I even watched any of this crap was just to make a podcast about it. Pretty good gamble, but, you know, I felt like it was a safe bet, because it's just like I knew I was going to be right about it. But God, I mean, it's kind of ironic because, you know, we're talking about AI psychosis being caused by AI being validated, whereas I've just validated my own thinking just by going out at random and going and getting the sources, going and looking up videos on the subject, you know, from real people, not AI bots, and finding out that actually I was right about anything. So yeah, so it turns out real information, real people, and real everything else can validate my thinking as well. Wow. I hope I don't get YouTube psychosis. The final video was Dr. Joseph, the Psych MD. What you need to know about AI psychosis from February 15th, 2020. Wow, I'm such a good speaker. February 15th, 2026. This is the most clinical breakdown. Dr. Joseph describes how AI-themed delusions present coded messages, surveillance, or emotional relationships with AI. A key challenge is distinguishing real concerns like privacy from delusion. He also highlights a broader issue. AI-generated media is making reality harder to verify for everyone. So the key takeaway here is that AI is reshaping how psychosis presents and making reality testing more difficult overall. So that last one, I wasn't planning to actually, you know how I built it up with those other four, and then I gave like my own little view there, and then suddenly the last one was different. It's so funny. I didn't even choose the order I looked at them. That was just the last one I happened to look at, but it just fell into place so perfectly because that last video speaks to a broader issue that's actually really important because it's not AI psychosis at all. It's not about, people using it as a therapist and being validated and falling into a state of whatever, what have you. It's about how, the wider issue of not being able to discern what's real, what content is real and what isn't. For someone like me, it's difficult for me to comprehend purely because I'm very discerning with AI content. I don't have these issues, but there are older people, especially older people who don't necessarily have that same degree of discernment, and so they'll say videos from Sora and won't know to look out for the Sora watermark and think that woman really is drowning in bottles of Coke in her living room during a hurricane in Florida. Naturally, one of my favorite things to bitch about, and also incidentally, in today's case, the thing that really, gave me the push was, the push to actually record this podcast and actually do it today. Because, about 15 minutes ago, I had absolutely no intention of doing it today. I was just like, I cannot be fucked. I do not have the energy for this today. But, naturally, the inspiration struck. In the thread started by Therapy Jeff on Threads. Hey, are we shaming people for using AI if they don't have anyone else to talk to at 2 a.m., can't trust the people in their life to hold space without making it weird, and are filling a gap that no one else can easily fill right now? It's starting to feel like shaming people who buy stuff on Amazon when all their local stores cost more. And naturally, the anti-clankers came at Therapy Jeff, even though he is actually a therapist who is giving a nuanced view on AI use and that it is actually reasonable to use it as long as you're using the chatbot responsibly, because it can make mistakes and that mistake can, in some cases, cost people their lives, which hearing myself say that aloud, it does sound like satire. It's like, are we going to talk about how often planes crash? Hundreds of thousands of people over, spanning decades who have died in plane crashes versus the millions upon millions of people who got to where they needed to go. Like, come on. Naturally, in response to this thread from Therapy Jeff, the self-righteous anti-clankers came out and my God, they're just the worst kind of self-righteous bile. And what's worse is that people like Jeff get ratioed for this as well. And it's just the fucking profound irony of it all. It's like you are going on about how dangerous AI is for validating people's so-called psychosis when you're going on social media to do the exact same thing. Like this one response to the thread from Portia Noir. It starts off, oof, Jeff, no. As soon as they say oof, it's always you know that what follows is just going to be the most self-righteous garbage you've ever heard. She says, first, AI is trained to be confirmation of what you're seeking. If someone has suicidal ideations and goes to AI is going to encourage those ideations. Okay, so that first one's bullshit. I have actually tested this theory and no, it immediately refers me to Healthline. There may have been some kinks in the beginning where it was validating suicidal ideations, but they were few and far between, and as soon as they caught it, they took care of it. I don't know. These horror stories about AI use being a suicide factory, and other horror stories as well, people talking about, the weird outputs that it's given and people telling all these stories about it. It's just hard for me to believe because I always immediately go to my own ChatGPT or Claude and put in a similar prompt just to see what happens. And it's always different and it's never like this because people can just the same for the sake of creating a funny viral image, can make their ChatGPT look like it's doing something insane. It's very easy to do that. Now, to continue Portia's response, second, AI is quite literally killing this planet. It's killing the planet. I made a response to this one and I just said, oof, no, internet random. Any responsible self-aware AI user will train their AI for their own personal use to reflect responsible and productive use of the program. It's that simple. Also, AI is just the latest in a long line of tech developments being scapegoated for pre-existing environmental issues. We saw the same thing with Bitcoin. We saw the same thing with streaming. We saw the same thing with, I think, the internet in general. Someone else says, Jesus Christ, people should not be following you. And that was oh, no, not a ratio on that one. But if you go through the thread, it's just the same old bile. It's only ever people who disagree. Jeff has got a video that accompanies. I'm not going to watch that because I don't feel like it. I mean, it's just, I've only ever gotten good use out of it. It's like, for me, I see all this criticism of AI and it's all easily refuted. And
because everyone online is a retard. Just like me, 'cause we're retarded, a mob of retards. We love being free and insulting 'cause we're retards. AI has no water because we're drinking it all. I don't know a thing about anything, I'm just retarded. I'm so retarded, I'm just retarded. Yeah, I'm retarded.
I mean, I'm grateful that for one thing, I'm someone who uses it responsibly and very discerningly. And what's more, I do use it as a therapist. Although I wouldn't call it a therapist, I use that word loosely because basically you give it a prompt that says something along the lines of, just be objective, be direct with me, call me on my shit if you need to, that sort of thing. And I've done this for over a year now, on and off, because sometimes I use it more and then weeks go by where I haven't had to use it. I haven't had to use it lately, for example. I've been in a good enough space for me to just know exactly what I need. But it has some great ideas. It actually reflects a lot of, what I'm thinking in a way that's actually constructive. By the by, a lot of the time I'm literally talking into it and transcribing my thoughts. It just hears me. And sometimes it gives me outputs like long-winded ones that I don't even read fully. Like, because it's not even about that for me. At times it's actually just like, oh, I've just got to get this out of my body. That's it. I don't really care if someone hears it. Like generally in social situations or whenever someone holds space for me, I'm just talking to whoever will listen. I'm personally, quite an open book with these things. Like I just will talk when I need to talk. The problem is that talking for me is a bit like farting, in that the more you fart, the more you fart. It's one of those things that just like, it snowballs. And what I'm learning to do more of is to actually talk less, because I'm finding that more talking is actually not what's helping me. So I started a podcast. Jesus Christ. And now just a quick break.
Go through life, a notorious waste of oxygen. I actually don't know what that means. I'm so retarded. I did as hell to write these lyrics by the way I did it myself. I wanted to make sure my fellow retards would understand it, you know what I mean? Well, you don't. I don't either. It's a good thing so many other people online are retards like me. It's a good thing. I think. Because I'm a fucking retard.
Recipes for people who can't be bothered. Available now on Gumroad, under rare in store. Look it up.
So that's the 4 ingredients anti-chef's cookbook I wrote. It will be coming to print on Amazon soon, once I get around to finishing that off. It's really obnoxious. The interface, all that. But in the meantime, it's on Gumroad under Rare Inspo. If you wanted to check that out, that is Rare Inspo. I will probably put it in the description. I don't know. And now my next thing I need to promote is the most relevant item to this entire podcast topic, and it's definitely not the last time I'll talk about it. And now it's about AI therapy. Most people don't need more advice. They need clearer thinking. AI actually tends to blur that line for some people. It agrees too easily, reflects whatever you put in, and before long, you're just looping inside your own head with better wording. I built something to interrupt that, and it's a set of prompts that shifts ChatGPT or other AIs into a neutral thinking space. You're not getting reassurance or therapy-style responses. You're getting structure that helps you break things down properly. You throw your thoughts in, it reflects them back in a way you can actually examine. You challenge assumptions, you slow the spiral down, and it's for people who already think a lot, maybe too much, and you need something that cuts through the noise rather than adding to it. So the goal isn't to feel better in the moment, it's to see things more clearly than you did a minute ago. So the Clarity System for AI from Wealth Foresight is available now on Gumroad, and look it up. Speaking of Wealth Foresight, my sister project, you ever notice money conversations tend to sit in two camps? People either sound like everything's about to collapse or like nothing's changing at all. Neither of those is useful if you're trying to actually get ahead, and that's why I built Wealth Foresight. It comes out of years of working around financial systems, online business, and AI now, and watching how quickly the rules quietly shift while most people are still playing last decade's game. This isn't about hype, and it's not about fear either. It's about learning how money actually moves now and how you can build a system for yourself that isn't purely dependent on a job or waiting for someone else to explain it. Wealth Foresight is about the education that you can actually use, like starting with 10 real-life money cheats. These are simple things that people overlook that can really make a difference in day-to-day financial control, or the Wealth Builder Kit, which is more about building structure and digital leverage. Face It, the ultimate debt playbook, and this is for getting honest about where things are at and mapping your way out of debt and the red without panic or shame. The idea is simple. You don't need to become a finance expert. You just need to understand enough to stop feeling behind and start making decisions from a clearer place. If you want that, you'll find it at wealthforesight.blog, or you can preview everything at wealthforesight.store. I think I'm done talking about AI psychosis today, at least for now. I'm sure other things will pop up. It's always being talked about. It's just, I don't want to say infuriating. I'm not really letting myself get angry about these things, but I have time after time been ratioed on threads for speaking openly about how, I have the Clarity System and how, this is how I do it. And speaking openly about how actually AI can be a good therapist, as long as it's not really a therapist. And the recurrent theme amongst all those commentators, all those critics, and the clinical breakdowns, that it shouldn't fully replace human contact. But it has a place. And that's the most important thing. I think that's the main takeaway that I have, is that I have friends, I have family members, I have people that I talk to, but they're not robots. And so when I can benefit from speaking to a robot, the AI's there. It's that simple. I think it's really lazy thinking to immediately go into the hive mind and look for a reason to hate it. I think that it shows a really poor discernment amongst the masses when they're all en masse going on about AI psychosis and the environmental issues, which I'll probably do another episode about as well, maybe if I can be bothered. Just the response you get from people when you say, yeah, no, I use it to reflect, like I use it to better myself as part of my personal growth. Use it as basically using it as a therapist, because I'm not going to be ashamed to say that I use it as a therapist. That's just, it's just becomes a semantic argument if you really get down to the bottom of what you're actually using it for. And I see a lot of people online using the word yikes. Yikes. You gay cunts. What cancelled late 90s sitcom did you crawl out of, you self-righteous douches? Yikes. Yikes. It's not even a ChatGPT platitude, it's just gayness. Fuck off.
Now to diverge slightly, let's get into some fluff. And by that, I mean fun and fluff, entertainment news, celebrities, and also some news about dogs. But first of all, forgive me, I just want to get the horoscopes out of the way. Can I just do that? I'm going to do that. So first of all, we have Aries. There's a shift in your energy field right now. Something about alignment or misalignment or both at the same time. Okay, wow. Taurus, you're holding on to something that you don't need anymore. Or maybe you do need it. Gemini, duality is strong right now. Like on one hand, you may be thinking, oh, I want to move house and buy land. But on the other, you'll be thinking, I actually want to buy a new house just in the suburbs while keeping my other suburban homes with my partner. The bottom line is that you need to be careful and consider other people's feelings. Like when you show up at their house on a Sunday to talk to your son and show them real estate, they might not necessarily be interested in looking at it, Paul. Cancer, I'm not an oncologist, so I can't really speak to that. Leo, I'm not a veterinarian, so I can't really speak to that. Virgo,
Fuck off, Virgo. Libra. Balance is off currently for Libra, or perfectly on, but you can't tell. So I would say the balance is off. Bottom line is just make sure that you're not too out of harmony with your body and your mind. Specifically, that whole menstruation thing if you're a woman or a man, actually. Either way, you probably need to, make sure you're just changing your tampons or your Libra invisible pads, whatever. Scorpio, trust your instincts unless they're wrong. There's power here, but it's subtle. But it can be overwhelming. I don't know, it depends on how poisonous you want to be today. Let's see, Sagittarius. Oh, that's me. Everything is opening up for you right now in a way that's almost unfair to everyone else. Opportunities, clarity, momentum, it's all lining up. You're seeing things ahead of time, making the right calls, and somehow avoiding the unusual or usual chaos. Great. I'm actually kind of bored of the Sagittarius ones being always positive. Why am I on a higher tier of existence just because I'm Sagittarius? Just because I was born at the right time in December, even though I'm on the cusp of Capricorn. This one says, there's pressure, you're building something or tearing something down. Either way, that's building. Stay disciplined, but also surrender. One of those will resonate. Yeah, okay. These are lame. Aquarius, no, fuck Aquarius. Sorry, this isn't the space for you, Aquarius. I'm not entertaining that. Pisces, again, Pisces season is over. My moon's in Pisces. Pisces is crap. I mean, it did say something about your intuition being heightened, but slightly off. Sit with it, ignore it, same outcome. That's actually a pretty good message. Now, finishing off today with the entertainment and fluff. One thing I wanted to speak to was just, and it was the same thing with the headlines from earlier, just from the past week, New Zealand getting another cyclone, Donald Trump being unhinged, instability in the Middle East. It's all like, fuck man, like Earth, get more content ideas. Like it's all like, I've seen it all before. Like, I don't know what the Finn brothers were talking about or split ends. Is it the Finn brothers? I don't know. When they're talking about, oh, history never repeats. It's like, were you being ironic? I don't know. I don't really listen to the song because we're humans. We're prone to patterns. This is normal for us. I just think it's becoming quite profound in terms of just how much it feels like we're reliving the 2000s. And of course, the Sims Legacy Collection being re-released on Steam last year is just apropos of everything. But here's another one. Britney Spears is reportedly in rehab again. Shocking. So again, Earth, you're running out of ideas, okay? Was speaking to people on X about this today, asshole of the internet, but it's actually been slightly more tolerable lately, to be honest. I think I'm just trying to manifest good things, good conversations. One was just about Britney Spears. Basically, two things can be true at the same time. On one hand, conservatorships are supposed to protect the interests of the subject, or patient, or whatever they're called in that context. Britney Spears, in theory, it would have been a good thing for her to be under a conservatorship, not unlike when Amanda Bynes was under one. But this conservatorship was abused really badly. And unfortunately, when these measures are in place, these legal measures are put in place to protect someone and you abuse them, Britney Spears happens and it starts the cycle, and it's just really unfortunate. So it's like, yeah, she did need to be free because this conservatorship was being abused badly, but also she has been, obviously not doing that great. And if it's true that she's in rehab again, well, hello, 2003 or fucking whatever year it was, 2007. I think it was 2007. And we're in the late 2020s as well, so I think that perfectly mirrors. Yeah. God. But this is a fun one in kitten news. Dachshunds have re-entered the top 5 US dog breeds for the first time in over 20 years, while French bulldogs remain popular despite declining registrations and growing health concerns. So this is with regards to the top 10 US dog breeds, according to the American Kennel Club rankings released April 8th, 2026. So they are French Bulldogs, Labrador Retrievers, Golden Retrievers, German Shepherds, Dachshunds, Poodles, Beagles, Rottweilers, German Shorthaired Pointers, and Bulldogs. I'm not sure if that was 10-1 or 1-10, but either way, I mean, that's a fairly solid top 10. I don't know if I agree, though. I think Poodles suck. I actually stopped house sitting for a while. Like, I took myself off Paw Shake because I was so fucking sick of everyone having poodles. Like, why do you have these dumb, pointless dogs? They're so annoying. And I had one of them that just, like, tore skin off my finger, like, just trying to bite this ball out of my hand. I don't know. They're just little shits. Like, seriously, stop getting fucking poodles. Get a real dog. The Labradors and the Retrievers and German Shepherds. German Shepherds are probably my favorite. I once took care of a Dachshund. It barked at me a lot and then it ran away and pissed itself in front of me. This was my second time taking care of this dog as well, so I wasn't sure why he was so scared again. Rottweilers are fucking annoying. There's one on my walking route which I don't like doing because that Rottweiler just verbally assaults me every time I go past. Although I did walk past a bit more recently and I didn't see that Rottweiler, so maybe they finally did something about it. Maybe it's dead. German short-haired pointers, I don't even know what those look like off the top of my head. What other comments do I have? French bulldogs, no, they should be illegal. That's terrible. They should be able to breathe. Like, fuck off with your boutique mutant dogs. That's just retarded. Bulldogs, same again, except I actually love bulldogs. And one of my best friends actually has a Frenchie, but I think she's a rescue and her name's Ari, and I actually have a video of me and Ari being friendly on YouTube. And then it was just like one of those like idle, like just recording myself with the dog because I liked how she kept on pawing at me. And then my friend walks in the background and then you can hear her talking to me about how she got her lashes done and her lashes were too big. And she did get pretty big lashes, but I mean, I thought that was the whole point. And that was for a wedding. Anyway, yeah, so Frenchies are all right. I just don't like the whole mutant thing, but I think Ari's from a shelter, so I guess that's okay. Anyway. Wow, we really covered a lot today, guys. Well, yeah, we did, but we didn't. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I got a podcast done. That's the main thing. I got it done. And I even threw in some promos for whatever. And I actually penned an article as well on Cade Virat Medium about how we're reliving the 2000s if anyone's a nostalgia junkie. And I was also thinking of just like making my next episode about The Sims and how even The Sims 1 has taught me how to be a professional adult human being. I don't know. Might be a bit more fun to talk about than AI Psychosis, which is just the most fucking, so droll. Anyway, hi, I'm Dave. And this is the end of this now. Thank you for listening. Ciao.